Tones is here. Luke is here. Huh? So, yeah, hello. Just Peter Chu is here. Peter. Hello. Okay. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to our panel. The future of mobile is stop calling it mobile. And the future of the panel, Zohar. And the future of the panel will be that you will stop, talk to each other, and look at me. Everybody, good afternoon. Welcome to Israel. It's a great place and a great country. I don't know if you noticed. You will notice. It just takes time. I want to start. Please be with us. I was at SXSW a few years ago, and I heard the guys from Singularity talking about Singularity and the future of robots, and they say, well, you are thinking that in the tall guy near the door, you are talking. The tall guy. Yes, you are tall. The tall guy. Thank you. No, stay or go, but don't talk. Thank you. And I heard Ray Kurzweil talking about Singularity and the future of robotics, and he said, you think that in the room you will see, well, in the right side, the robots, in the left side, the humans. But I'm going here in Austin, Texas, in SXSW, and I see all the people navigating like this. So there won't be any robots and humans. Something will become one and will become regular. We are in the middle of the end of the mobile revolution. By the mobile will become like the web today. Nobody's saying, I bought it online, I bought it on the web. People saying, I bought it in Asus, I bought it in eBay. It's our life. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We have a very interesting panel here. We'll start with, well, first a few words about myself. My name is Sagi Chemetz. I'm the CEO of Blink Avas. As Danny mentioned, we just became a part of the Avas group. Before I went to social media marketing, I was a journalist for many years, and I also have a mobile phone. So I will be your moderator today. We have here Amit Keren, General Manager of Deutsche Telekom. Amit, Alan, good morning. Mariano Mariano De Beer, Chief Commercial Digital Officer at Telefonica, and Luc Bretons, SVP Techno Center of Orange. Great. So let's start with each one of you tell a little bit about himself and his job, because each one of you have a very interesting job and can have a very interesting perspective of about our panel. And please address the subject. Do you think and how do you see mobile is going from here?
Okay, I will begin. I'm Luc Breton. I'm in charge within Orange Group, which is a major telco of the innovation, and the Techno Center is roughly said the factory for new products and services for the world group. We have 30 countries on retail market, mainly in Europe, Africa, and Middle East, and we operate B2B services worldwide. My teams are in London, in Paris, in Abidjan, in Ivory Coast, and Amman in Jordania. And we produce these products and services globally and try to customize it per country. And another activity I'm managing is Orange Valley, which is an incubator for internal entrepreneurship initiative within the group for employees that want to build their own startup within the enterprise, and accelerator. We have 15 around the globe, from San Francisco to Tokyo, Beijing, obviously Europe, Africa, and Middle East, to accelerate promotion of startups. So this is my activity. About the topic of this conference, what's very important seen by Orange is the fact that we enter definitely an ambient connectivity context, so that we won't think about a network you are entering or you are connecting to, whether it's a fixed network or a mobile network. You will just buy an access to the best network in the place you are for the activity you want to have to develop. Whether it is mobile, Wi-Fi, fixed, no problem. And in fact, we observed that the activities on the mobile, on the smartphone, they are very strong on the move, obviously, but also at home, with something like 50% increase of bandwidth usage per year. So it's really impressive. And on average, 7 screens per household in France, for example, but it's a good average for Europe. So that's a huge amount of data of usage you have to carry through the mobile, and this ambient connectivity that will be strengthened by 5G and very all IP networks will be at the heart with all the IoTs that are satellites of your mobile, of this new world we are entering in. That's in a nutshell for an introduction of my activities and the context we see at Orange.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mariano De Beer. I am the Chief Digital Commercial Officer of Telefónica. Basically, I do all the commercial activities worldwide. Telefónica is a company based in Spain that has 300 million customers in Europe and Latin America. We have mobile fixed lines, all the telco services. Basically, what I do is I'm in charge of the commercial activities of Telefónica. That comes from pricing, product development. I also handle all the innovation activities and all the digital activities that are how our customers relate to Telefónica digitally, and also about all the new developments like IoT, cloud, everything that has to be with digital. Regarding your question, I see, if we see the history, and let me do like a 20-second recap on the history of mobile telecommunications over the last 20 years. The first, at the beginning, the value creation was on the side of the telcos. The mobile phone was used just to make phone calls, send SMS, so we saw a huge value creation done at the telecommunications provider side. Then, I would say the iPhone came in, and you start looking at the cell phone, at the mobile phone as a different animal, at something that does something else than making phone calls. And there was a massive value creation on the mobile phone making. And you see Apples with huge valuations. After that, you start having apps. And you have this shift in value creation to the app world, having millions of apps, and also creating platforms. So over the last 5 years, you see a huge value creation on the side of the platform aggregators. You have Facebook, you have Snapchat, you have Airbnb, Uber. Now the question is, where is going to be the value creation right now? Because when you see, one of the things that we're looking is mobile phones. People used to change them with certain regularity. We're looking now that a mobile phone became almost a commodity. All mobile phones look the same. So people are replacing their mobile phones at a slower pace. And the question is, where's going to be the future? And I see three tendencies, three trends that are going to be the value creation, and it's going to be much more even out in the different players of the telecommunications world. One has to do with mobile phones. And what we're looking, everybody's expecting now the launch of the iPhone 8. And the question is, there are many things that are coming. I think the main one is going to be mixed reality and augmented reality. That's something that it's going to make a new cycle of value creation on the mobile phone side. And I see the mobile phone companies, the telcos, creating huge amount of values with another trend, which I think it's artificial intelligence and cognitive intelligence. And in the artificial intelligence space, we have something, I think Telefonica is developing something that is the most innovative concept over the last years about what is to apply cognitive intelligence to a mobile phone, to the telco industry, and we call it the fourth platform. And this is when you say, that's very interesting, you're going to ask me about, that's something you should ask me about, what's the fourth platform? I think it's a very interesting concept.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Karen. I'm the managing director of Deutsche Telekom Israel, part of a global team that's based in Israel, San Francisco, the UK, Bonn, and Berlin. I can say that I feel like the head of the US Patent Office at the late 1900s, that everything was said or everything that was developed was already said by these gentlemen. So it's nice to see everyone. But I think I will add, so Deutsche Telekom as a company has 14 operators worldwide, primarily known as T-Mobile, serving north of 160 million customers. On the business side, we're active in over 50 countries worldwide. So it's a relatively big company, 240,000 people, 73.1 billion euro in revenue last year. And that has relevance to how we develop the future. So 2 points before I get to how we see that. If you hear the dialogue yesterday, especially the things like the keynote by Firne Vogels, he mentioned that it's about interface, or how the natural, or how the human interface evolves into the communication world today, where today we have to type with our fingers or do other type of inputs. And then the other discussion earlier today is how do people want it, where do they want it, when do they want it, that they had in the earlier panel today. So to get back to the point of where do we see the future of mobility, well, it's not about mobility, it's about what you have, where you want it. If any of you are around my age and you were children and you saw the Jetsons, a cartoon series, there you could press a button and get a milkshake or a hot dog or anything else, and that is where the world will lead, and the company best situated in the place and time to provide something will provide that service, and the ambience, etc., will also be important. Coming of mixed reality could change the way we design networks. The demands, if you want to have augmented reality look realistic, have to be sub 5 milliseconds. And that's not something you can do from the cloud physically. I'm not talking about the speed of processors. This means that we may be heading back to the PC era and having little boxes in our homes. We can get to the other points later.
All right, thank you all. We are here with 4YFN. Where's David? David, you are here? Oh, hello, David. So 4YFN, the startup venue and the platform near the mobile conference in Barcelona, and we are having them here in Israel for the third time, and we are talking 4 years from now. But Amit, I want to start with you. From now to 4 years from now, there's a demand and there's a very big talk about AI and virtual reality, and sometimes the talk and the infrastructure are not running together. Who is ahead? Who, and what do you see today in infrastructure? Are we already in a world when I can push a button and see something and get something as fast as we imagine it? And are we going there?
So I'll be maybe a little blunt here. We're a great company, but we're a company based on economy of scale, meaning that innovation leads strategy by at least 2 years. So AI and everything happening is ahead of our ability to comprehend and to really deal with it. Does everybody need their Nest to negotiate with a Pepper robot about things today? No, but that needs to be understood where the value is and where the value we can deliver to customers is. AI in general is an engine. Okay, if you have a petrol engine and you put in petrol, then it's good. If you put in diesel, not so good. And this is also a lot about the discussion today of what happens with autonomous cars. If there's somebody to hit, Do you hit the person in the street and save the driver, or the other way around? Okay, so there are a lot of implications as to our responsibility if we want to provide a satisfactory or a good experience to our customers. What does that mean? And that means we need to let for things to mature a bit before we actually engage them. So technology and AI and everything that DeepMind is looking at, and artificial general intelligence, is ahead of us. But I don't see that necessarily as a bad thing.
Mariano, if we don't call it mobile, let's call it names of, as you say, usage. Let's call it money. Do you think money will become mobile? Do you see, well, let's talk about IoT. Will IoT have a mobile wallet or a wallet on it, and our machines will start to order things? Let's talk about Bitcoins, even though, you know, it's not a good day to talk about Bitcoin, but are we going to see all the money going mobile, the payment industry going to change?
Life is going mobile. So if life is going mobile, money is going mobile. It's a natural trend. How it's going to evolve? It has to do with the different regulations in different countries, and that's why I think we're going to see different adoption curves, and even culturally. You know, for example, in Germany, the adoption of credit cards today is half of other places in Europe. So it has to be also with culture. But I think it's in 10 years from now, people are not going to distinguish their wallet from their mobile wallet from their digital wallet. Bitcoin, I'm not going to talk about Bitcoin, but yes, the blockchain concept applied to telecommunications is going to create a lot of new innovation in the terms of how we handle security in the telco space. So I see huge amount of research going into blockchain and how to apply that to the way that people exchange services and keep even their information safe in the cloud, on the cloud.
To answer your first question about the networks that will be available to support all these bursts of bandwidth and usages, Orange between 2015 and 2018 will invest 15 billion euros in fiber and 4G. We'll have 20 million fiber access in Europe at this time, 2018, and 98
Fiber? Cable.
Fiber, yeah. And 20 million access for fiber, and 98% of 4G coverage in our footprint in Europe. So that's quite huge, and that's enough for the moment, waiting for the 5G to support all the IoT explosion and all the services. On the payment side, you mentioned, you should know that Orange is the only operator in the world, as I can know, to both a bank and to develop a digital bank, Orange Bank.
In France.
In France, and it will be deployed very soon in Spain and other countries in Europe. As you know, also in Africa, we have Orange Money. Orange Money is used at present by more than, I think it's 20 million Africans every day.
It's two different things. The bank in Europe is a different thing, and then Orange Money is a different. What is Orange Money?
Orange Money is a digital account so that you can be paid. You can receive your compensation on your smartphone. Even if you don't have a bank account, you can pay everything with it, and you can transfer data within African countries or with some of the European countries through diasporas. So it's very convenient, and you can use it also if you don't have a smartphone, so through a feature phone that is very simple. The reach in terms of population is around 100% because everyone has a feature phone in his pocket. And we definitely are convinced at Orange that payment and bank transaction should be seamless within the digital processes. whether it is you use a service or you buy something, it should be on the go. Probably you have noticed that earlier this week in China, they tested in a fast food a way to buy your hamburger with the fast face recognition. So you don't even need to take your smartphone out of your pocket. Obviously, the smartphone is doing the job, but your face is recognized.
So instead of a cash machine,
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
a face machine.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. And that's more sympathetic than all the security processes you for sure know. Because in China, for the last Olympic Games, they used face recognition for security purpose, and now you can use it to buy your hamburger. So it's and the purpose and the issue is definitely to have frictionless processes, so that you can simplify and kill some very simple tasks that are eating your daily life. So.
Orange Bank have branches? The
Sorry?
Orange Bank, the bank you have in Europe, have
Yeah.
branches like a regular bank, like Citibank?
We are based for now in Europe for the bank. In Africa, we are in partnership with a local bank. But as you can imagine, all these financial services within Orange are supposed to merge in the future. So that the services will be the same whether you are in Africa or in Europe. And what I noticed at the head of innovation at Orange is that it's very easy to take an innovation from Africa that is obviously low cost, because if not, it doesn't scale up in Africa, and to implement it in Europe. That's very efficient because we are obliged to be lean and to have design thinking approach in face of the abilities of the people. First, you know that a lot of Africans are not able to read, so it's important to have voice interfaces and vocal interfaces, so that the people can do complex processes without typing and texting. So we are shifting from a text and touch world to a voice and visual world. TT to VV. I think it's really the new motto.
TTV.
TT to VV.
TT to VV sounds nice. Who wants to go to TT? Yes. So you mentioned Africa, and let's talk about China. I think mobile is the only place that the Western world can learn more from the Eastern and maybe from Africa, because they went very, very fast to mobile, because the bigger and the landline were, well, not exist. So let's talk about commerce, and let's look at China. We see WeChat and we see Alibaba, and we see the real shops, the real commerce is really different. Alibaba have shops which know that are just experience. I mean, we talked a little about this, and you come, you buy maybe online, maybe with the mobile, maybe the product goes to your home and you are staying in the shop. How do you see commerce, and what can we learn from WeChat? And we'll talk later about Facebook on what's going to be the experience we're going to have with commerce and with real commerce and online commerce in a mobile, flexible world. Amit, maybe you would start with the story.
Seems like I was volunteered. Gracias. So commerce, we'll split it maybe into two. Commerce for us as
maybe you tell first what we talked about on China. Where do you go to a shop and it's...
the examples were here earlier, but I mean basically anybody in China today can pretty much pay via Alipay or WeChat or whatever. Meaning this simplifies life for the elderly who were not used to credit cards and other things. I mean, we as human beings, again, this is a generalization, typically find it difficult to shift more than one paradigm at a time. If you look at the fact that we had a fixed phone in the home with a rotary dial, then a push-button phone, then a cordless phone, then a wireless phone, first generation of the internet on the fly didn't really work that well with WAP. If you had a T11 with 2 rows, That didn't work well either at all. And then with Apple, now we are in the mobile web. The same thing are the paradigms with pay. So for China, they didn't have a paradigm for credit or for other usage, and they just made it simply here, you pay with this. And the fact that it's ubiquitous, just like the fax machine was, makes it simple. And will the rest of the world go in that direction, like the Western world? It will take more time because we are used to other paradigms such as cash, credit, debit, etc. And whether we're going to barter or have some kind of blockchain currency within a neighborhood or gamification, that's a little more, maybe, but that's a little more challenging. The interesting thing is, yes, and there's a lot of talk over the years of micropayments. I will shorten it so that my other colleagues here can have a little bit more time. The most interesting point is that there will be at least two economies. One between humans and whatever else, and two between machines and machines. You already have blockchain payment implementations in machines, and they will machine to machines. There will be a parallel economy. No human. Well, again, okay. Who enters the logic, etc. Now, don't panic. Don't start buying isolated islands, etc. No, the end of the world is not near, or if it is, I probably don't know. In general, my feeling about disruption is if it smells like disruption and looks like disruption, then it's probably not disruption. That's why they call it disruption. We don't see it coming. So getting back to that, yes, that is perceivable because to be able to facilitate and make our life transparent in the future of networking, etc., a lot of things will have to be done without our knowledge. I mean, we can know what's happening inside there,
like
but it's in parallel.
Ordering
I'll give you a simple example. Okay, there's a logistics chain. Now all of a sudden somebody needs a heart transplant, but everything's planned out. Now that means some machine goes to another machine, says, hey, I have to do this urgently, I'm willing to pay a premium. That machine says, okay, fine, this is acceptable, this is the premium, shifts the schedule. No human intervention. No need for it. Anyway, I've taken up too much time, so now.
I had an outstanding experience in China with Mobike. Mobike is the contraction of mobile and bike. They are putting on the street in China millions of bikes per year now. It's incredible. You take your smartphone with WeChat, you scan the QR code at the back of the bike, the locker open, and you go. And the price is calculated taking into account the distance of the bike from the center of the city. And if it's too, if you are in a suburb that is far away from the center, you're paid by the system to put it back to the center. So it's completely smart and incredibly efficient. Another example is Jingo. As a new interface, Jingo is the personal assistant at Orange. We disclosed earlier this year at the Show Hello, the innovation keynote of Orange. We are building it in partnership with Deutsche Telekom on the AI part, software part of the infrastructure, and it allows you to command almost everything by voice, not only your smart home, your TV, all the daily services, but also the payment, as I told you. Voice is a way to identify people that is more precise than the fingerprint. So you can use the fingerprint, the iris, the voice is very efficient because everyone is speaking. And we are very convinced this kind of assistance, whether it is in the living room, in the kitchen, or also in the car, will take ground in the near future. And the last example of new interface we are developing is around virtual reality, augmented reality. At Roland Garros, you know, the Grand Slam in Paris, we tested a way for two people that are distant by many kilometers or at the opposite side of Roland Garros in different rooms to play together with their avatar made on the go, but their real face and their real body dimension, put it in the Philippe Chatrier Grand Slam court, and you can play against a very well-known
With glasses?
player.
You need
Yeah,
glasses.
well, you need glasses, and you can play real time with someone in the other side of the site or in another city, for example. And it's so realistic. You can speak with your partner, with your opponent, and exchange some feelings about the play, and it's completely incredible. You have to test it to understand how powerful these new interfaces are and how they will, I think, be successful in the coming months.
One thought here. What we are talking about money and how you pay, how you buy, how you go to watch the Roland Garros, and at the end it becomes digital. What we are looking here, it's a massive merge of the real life with the digital life. And one thought here that we have to start thinking is, once your life becomes fully digital, your data, it's been seen. It's been seen by Telefonica. It's been seen by many different companies where you interact. And the question that we are asking ourselves is, who owns that data? Because today, many of those platforms that are out there that are free for us, actually they're not free. If you are getting
Like
anything free,
Facebook?
if you're getting anything for free, it's because you are the product. They're selling you to somebody else. So the question here, and that's the concept of the fourth platform, that's something, it's a fundamental shift, is that we want to give the ownership of your own data to yourself. And we as telcos, we manage massive amount of information of where you are, what you do, who you pay to. And the question is, we need to give back that information to your ownership. And that's how potent the IEA, the cognitive intelligence plays, because what we're trying to get, and this we announced that a year ago at the Mobile World Congress, and we're gonna implement it by the next Mobile World Congress in many countries, is a cognitive platform where you can see your own data and where we can help you manage your life by using cognitive intelligence and make sense of all the data that you create in your digital life.
So we talked about the fourth platform. I want to talk about apps, chatbots, and about the popular apps that we use. I think most of the people use 3 or 4 apps most of the time. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, whatever, YouTube. Do you see the world or the mobile world going through mainly these apps? Do you see apps vanishing and, let's say, chatbot refer them and change them, or more and more things happen via messengers? Maybe it's from.
If I hold the microphone, I'll start. I see a lot what we already talked about, having the voice interaction as something that is going to change the way that we interact with our cell phone. Probably in 5 years, the mobile phone is not gonna be this square thing that we hold in our pockets. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's not gonna be this. And I see all these platforms, if they want to survive, partnering with us, with the telcos, in trying to create something that is beyond a digital platform, is something more that interacts with life. And when we are talking about interacting with life, we're talking about devices. And here, where we can play together as an industry to create something really, really meaningful.
How much Telefonica use chatbots today? How much from your customer service or sales are used by bots?
Well, we are developing one of the things. The fourth platform at the end becomes what we call Aura for the customer. Aura is it's somebody that it's an engine where you talk and you ask questions, and the chat box at the end are embedded into voice. And in all our developments in terms of how to interact with customers, we have it as customer service now, the chat box embedded. So we see that as a natural way of interacting with the customer as well.
Bots, Facebook.
Chatbot, we have built a chatbot factory for our business-to-business activities. It's quite successful, so that SMBs, small entrepreneurs to large businesses could build by their own bots. And through Jingo, we want to leverage an ecosystem of bots that are very specialized in retail, in health services, and so on. And to strengthen the point you mentioned about privacy, about ownership of the data, I think this will be the key differentiator for European players, and especially telcos, in face of GAFAs and giant of the Asian IT. Because for European people, it's so important, the privacy and the fact that you know what people are doing with your private data, and to keep, to master this information, and to be able to have a transparent and confident use of this data. This is so crucial. It's really cultural in Europe, and it will differentiate, and I think will be the key player, the third parties, the third trust parties in this side in the future.
Just breaking news to the panel, just Zohar here from the crowd just texted me that there is the first chatbot on WhatsApp for KLM. So do you think when it's mainly Facebook was open for chatbots on their messenger, now when WhatsApp is open for chatbots, are we going to see a massive change in uses of bots and in uses of brands connecting with clients and customers via bots? And because your time is up, thank you, and we will, we don't see it. Please, last question for each one of you. How do you see mobile in 4 years from now? You said we're talking about bots. We have handsets. How it's going to be? Start with the bots and WhatsApp, please.
So KLM is a French company, so maybe we'll let Luc relate to, they're owned by Air France. But for the chatbots things, maybe I have a scientific method to engage this. How many of you in the audience use chatbots? Or have used chatbots? That's lovely. How many of you are happy with chatbots? So we have work to do. That's a simple answer. And the reason is that we are still looking at it from the approach of a linear or an analytical approach, and we're not looking at it yet from a human approach. We will get there. And then in that case, the interface will be human, whether we want to talk, speak, whatever. Again, mobile is just like a road. Whether you drive a truck, a train, an airplane, a motorcycle, a hovercraft on top of it, it doesn't matter. And that's what we want. It's about the service and the value and the privacy that we can provide our customers. It's not about the medium with which we do it.
In 4 years from now, we're going to have augmented reality and mixed reality, something that is going to be very meaningful for our customers. Second, we're going to have artificial intelligence all over, chatbots and voice and natural interaction with machines and with all the companies we interact with. The mobile phone is not going to be the mobile phone we know now. It's going to be more wearable. It's going to be more interactive. We're going to have a massive shift to IoT, to the Internet of Things, billions of things connected, and trillions of dollars made into this IoT industry. And we're going to have much more connectivity. 5G is coming, 100 more speeds in terms of how you interact with your mobile network, much less latency. So the connected car is going to be a reality. Where the next 4 years are going to be awesome.
I discovered some days ago that I had 230 different apps on my smartphone. Probably in a big day I use 10 of them maximum. And in fact 90% on less than 5. So I think the future will be dramatically a drop of the number of apps. There will be probably some mainstream interfaces, and the customer will choose this interface, and we have to develop APIs to be able to go to these interfaces when the customer decide to interact with us through a given interface. So, and it probably won't be on the smartphone only, but through a watch, through a vocal interface, through a face recognition one, and so on and so on. So it's we have to adapt to APIs our process and to think about frictionless way of interacting with the customers.
A question from the, please.
My name's Ralph Simon from Mobilium. Question for Mariano. Mariano, which are the 3 key elements of AI that you see Telefonica implementing onto the system in the next 6 to 9 months?
Woo!
Wow. Well, let me.
You wake us
first,
up. Thank you.
We are doing a massive development of common data. We have a lot of data that we generate, and today we cannot use that data because the data is not standardized. So that's something that we have to work inside our organization. Second, we need to develop with partners the artificial intelligence and the cognitive intelligence platform to make that data, to make it happen, and to have something meaningful to recommend to our customers, to interact with our customers. And third, we need to develop a great interface to interact with our customers. And we are working on a new interface on how to relate that has to do with chatbox, it has to do with face to voice recognition and voice interaction, and to make the life of our customers much easier. I don't know if I passed the test.
More question, please. Do you have more question? Because we don't have more time, but we'll take it and we'll grab it. Yes.
Hello, my name is Adrian, and I've been to a GSMA conference and I've interacted with a lot of telcos, and I know data is dead. You're not going to make any money out of data. So you're definitely deeply focusing on services. So my question is, there's like a stack of services, right? Is it all about interfacing with the customer through like visual and auditorial and voice? And that's where you're going to get your business, that's where you're going to run your business models on top, added services on top of your network? Or what kind of other services do you think are going to be prevalent? Because data, it's basically going to be a commodity.
I don't agree that data is dead. I think data it's going to be the main reason why a customer is going to choose a telecommunications provider is going to be about how he feels about privacy, I think. And how we give back the customer the data in a meaningful way. The question that you're saying, I think what you mean by data is data, is how to monetize data. And how to monetize data, we think it's gonna, if we are doing a good job, we are gonna have less churn, more customer loyalty, and we want to partner with everybody here. The issue about giving back the data to our customers doesn't need to be that we are not going to share the data with others. But it means that we're going to help the customer, and we're going to help you connect with companies that respect the data privacy and tell the people what they're doing with their data. And in that sense, there is a way to monetize it in a much more respectful way than I think we're doing it right now.
Another element in complement, I think the big battle is around customer relationship. Which player will master the customer relationship? Once you have lost this customer relationship as a telco, you are only reduced to a player of wholesaling the data and the voice. So the value is quite low in terms of the margin and value addition. So customer relationship is at stake, whether the interface, and it's the same battle on the voice interface as it is on the screen interface with the green button, you know, the telephone green button that is disintermediated now by many players. So this is the key battle, the customer relationship. And on top of that, you can build whatever business you want.
So, yeah, I fully agree with them. One small point is we'll get to the human interface in 4 years, Then we need to get to computer vision. As human beings, between 30 to 60% of our brain is allocated to perception of the world based on vision. So we'll have enough data and much more to play with down the line.
Thank you very much. You are all invited to the 4YFN lounge here outside. Thank you very much. Thank you to the panelists. It was great and interesting. Thank you. See you in 4 years.
Thank you very much, Remy. It was a great panel. Thank you so much for Is From Now.